Well, hello, true gardeners. So we are in my backyard and I'm letting you guys in on a sneak peek. So y'all know that we had pretty bad devastation during that cold snap that we had, and it really hurt a lot of our large material. Unfortunately, when it hurts large material, it really does hurt even the understory plants that did make it through the frost. So we had to kind of revamp what we were doing, bring in some sun-loving plants in areas that we had, and bring in some shade trees that are going to offer a little bit more protection. They're not quite there yet because what I had was so overgrown and matured and really offered so much canopy coverage. But unfortunately, I'm not able to do that right off the bat all over again. So what I brought in was a good bit of material that's going to provide that as time goes on. And then I brought in some other material that can handle a little bit more of that dappled sunlight that we're getting that you guys can probably feel. I mean, I feel like this is the brightest that my backyard has ever been. So I know we're a little early. We're still in the planting phases. I mean, we're just now tackling it today, but I could not wait to bring you guys along because I know so many of you guys are, kind of battling that same situation where you're popping things out, putting things in. Your garden's now different. Maybe it's more, sun-loving like my garden is, and you're kind of trying to figure out what to do. And I'm hoping this video just offers maybe some inspiration for what's possible when you're recreating your space. So I'm gonna just touch on some newbies, some new fun plants and trees that I've got. Some of them are super cold tolerant, so just in case that happens in the future, I'm golden there. And then some of them are not. Some of them are things that would struggle if we had another cold snap like we had before, but that's the type of garden that I love. So let's take a peek at some of those newbies. You guys do not worry, there will be a full garden tour once it's done. This is just to kind of get you excited about that next step of planting. So let's get started. All right, you guys, so we're starting way back here at the end of my garden. Normally I have my chairs back here. Normally it's so put together. I feel like I'm like my bed's unmade. It's all crazy and manic right now. I love this section of my garden. I was very unhappy to lose as much of this beautiful hurricane palm. It's going to live. It looks like it's got some new fronds popping out. I think it's going to be just fine. But this tree, because of the size and what it offered so much great canopy coverage, gave me some shade right in this little area, so I could really hit some shade plants right here, and they were doing fine. But just for that little bit of time that we've had, things that were here were burning like crazy. So I had to pull them out, put them in pots, and then come back to it later, because right now this is going to be our life. We're going to have more sun exposure right here. So I love European fan palms. They do not get the love they deserve. I hear people say all the time, well, they're a glorified palmetto. They're not. They are the coolest tree. They do take some time to grow. So if you've got a spot that you're like, hey, I want something vertical, I want some impact, but I don't want it to be, 40 foot tall, then you may want to think about a European fan palm. I kind of use it in the garden like an oversized agave, kind of an oversized accent. This guy will get some size, but they grow so slow. About 6 inches a year is their average. They have multiple trunks, or you can keep them at single trunk. You guys will see right over here, I have this beauty, this double European fan palm that has been here for almost 20 years. And this guy was probably, I would say 10, maybe 15 years old when I put him in. And he's probably grown, maybe 4 or 5 feet in total, but he was big when I brought him in. I really can't get enough of him. So I thought, gosh, if I had room in my garden, which now I do, I brought in another European fan palm. This is not the only one I brought in the garden. When I walk straight back here, seeing this big fan right here, this big light coloration that they offer, all of these dramatic little windmills, I think they really offer a big punch in the garden. And then I know that this guy is never going to compete with my hurricane palm, because the hurricane palm is going to be well up over this, offering just a little bit of coverage. What's great about the European fan palm is it can handle sun, full sun, like mega sun, and then it can handle filtered light into shade. So it can really handle a lot of scenarios. This tree for a very long time was in the shade environment, and it did fabulous. The only real difference is these tend to be a little bit more compact when they're in the full sun, because they're not trying so hard to reach and grab that sun. But when they're in the shade, like this one was, because it had areca palms around it, it's going to stretch out. It's really going to pull out there and try to to get some sunlight there. So you're going to notice that it's going to give you almost, I would say, even more of a tropical look when that happens. But for whichever application that you need it for, it's a champ. Definitely a great little feature to have in the garden. And the texture that it offers, it's just fabulous, because this guy, look at all vibrant, crazy. And then you come over here to the anthurium, and I wish I could say the carpoxylon, because that carpoxylon, when it's, you know, beautiful and it's happy, right now it's been cut back because of the frost, its fronds curl like this. So when you have that variation of a soft curl like this, and then you've got this real vibrant kind of look here, and then you've got, you know, the Dioon vertical upright like there, all of those things, that's what gives you that tropical impact because of how that contrast of leaf on leaf tends to look. So don't sleep on the European fan palms, because if anything, I think they make a great supportive plant to the rest of your tropical garden.
Hey you guys, Bryce here. I just wanted to pop this in real quick and ask if you could like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps show your support and keep these videos going. Also, if you're enjoying the video, please drop a true gardener in the comments. And if you're looking for any help with designing your space, or you have some questions, or you want a master plan created, or you even want a design and installation done, head over to our website. We have 3 short videos that break down our 3 services so you can see which option works best for you. In those videos, we'll go over pricing and locations for the state of Florida. And if you're looking for any products mentioned in this video, we have a link that takes you directly to our Amazon storefront where you should be able to find everything. And also, if you're looking to build your own plant palettes, we also have a link that takes you to our book that helps walk you through designing your own space. Thanks so much for your support, and let's get back to the video.
And then one that is not really seen just yet. I tried to bring it in as big as I could, but these guys take forever to grow, which is kind of the name of the game in my new garden. I wanted to make sure the things that I did pop back in, that I was going to try to make a little bit lower maintenance as we move into our older years. I thought that might be a really good option. So a lot of the plants that you're going to see here are a little bit slower growing. So sugar palms take a long time to grow, but they are worth it. They're kind of like gigantic, oversized areca palm, but they really mound out. They're more spherical, so they're more rounded like this, and they're very chunky, so they need some room to grow in. But if you've got a spot that you're trying to block out a nice open area, sugar palms are pretty ideal. They can handle full sun conditions to filtered light environment, so they're going to do really well there. They're going to offer some shade to some of my other plants as they mature out and open up. But I think they're a fantastic clumping, dwarfed small palm, and that's going to do the job. Dwarf sugar palm is definitely on my list. One plus to that particular tree is it is cold tolerant into the 20s. So if something like this happens again in the future, we are safe with the dwarf sugar palm and the European fan palm. Speaking of cold tolerant trees that don't look like they are, now these guys are young. They've been through a lot. They did go through the cold snaps. They do have some cold damage on them in the nursery, but to me, they are new. And I love Australian fern trees. I think they're just, that feathery frond is just so gorgeous. I popped 2 of them right back there. And what Australian fern trees do is they will search for the light. They do like filtered light, morning sun. That's a perfect environment for them. They can take a little bit more sun than a lot of people think they can, but I've seen them in front yards and I've seen them in all morning sun and midday sun unprotected, and they've done fine. But in this particular spot, I did put them there for a purpose. So you guys know I do not like the legs of trees for the most part, but I could never part with my old European fan palm that's here. So I wanted something that was going to come up and out and reach for the sun where I'm standing right here. And that's what those 2 guys are going to do. They're going to come out and they're going to flood forward. So they're going to pull forward into this area and really give me that tropical kind of, you know, ferny-like look. So I think they're a great addition to the garden. They're going to kind of come around the bases of this tree to kind of camouflage it and soften it. And it's going to be very tropical. And bonus, it is also on the cold tolerant list. So it handled that most recent cold like a champ. Has a little bit light burn to it, but overall it was in a pot at a nursery, not covered, and it did super well. So that might be one of those things. If you have the perfect little area that's a little bit covered, then your Australian fern trees might be a tree just for you. All right, Al, so I don't want to miss on this little plant here. This is an anthurium. This guy came in at a 7-gallon size. It handled the cold snap like nobody's business. I got them from Susan at Palm City Palms, and she didn't cover them. She just left them out in the greenhouse, and they did fantastic during the frost. So I'm like, you know what? I love that big leafy texture and like the slow growth on it and that vertical big giant leaf that it's gonna offer. So I put them on each side of my boulder collection right here. I'm gonna let them really fill in and widen out and really kind of give me that giant kind of anthurium, that big leaflet that they offer. I think it's gonna be so tropical, you know, gonna handle our cold snap. So, you know, bonus. So I know you guys know most of this smaller material that we have here, and I won't get into every plant and tree right now. I wanted to really mainly get into some of the bigger things that we brought in, some of the things I'm super excited in, but do not worry. I will do a full layout garden tour coming up as soon as we get everything in the ground. It's going to take about a week or so, but as soon as we have everything ready and all polished up, then your garden tour is on its way with plant names, zone names, and all. All right, you guys, so right here, this is right from my kitchen window. I can see this tree. This was a beautiful areca palm originally. We just lost most of the upper canopy of hers and only that little bottom section survived. And so we ended up just pulling her out of the garden because it was just kind of a funky look. So I didn't want to try to save it at that point. So I ended up doing a cold coconut. Y'all know I love my cold coconut on the side yard. The thing does not miss a beat. It has done so well. So I thought, gosh, if you got one thing that's doing so well, that's offering you very little maintenance, then why not have another thing like that? These guys grow exceptionally slow as far as trimming goes, maybe a limb or two once a year. It's really minor when you have a tree that grows that slow. You can pick them up all day long at Palm City Palms for, I think they're 25-gallon size pot, so they're kind of maybe 7 or 8 foot tall. They're still a little young, and they're going to take some time to really grow in, but oh my goodness, once they do, they become just fabulous. I'll get Bryce to pop up a quick video I did at a farm where I tagged some beautiful ones at Randy Sexton's farm, and they were just gorgeous and big giant canopies to them. So once they get there, you could just flood your garden with those, and they're just absolutely stunning. So right down below, I've done a collection of boulders, which again, when we're talking about low maintenance things, before I didn't have the room for boulders because I had a nice selection of plants into this spot, but now it's time where I had some ways to jazz this up. And then during our hurricanes, we had a low level in a couple of these spots. So I thought, you know, let's bring some boulders in and then pack the soil up a little higher. So it looks like the boulders are kind of, you know, holding back the soil. So we kind of created 3 different little islands for some of my favorite trees in the garden. So they're going to do just that. So I have a triple bottle palm. She's still tied up. She's not really released yet and got, you know, all of her glory, but the triple bottle palm as the centerpiece here. I have a single European that has a curve to it. It's a little hard to see. I have it planted at kind of an angle because you guys know, I mean, part of a garden is not just what it looks like now, but what it's going to become in the future. And y'all know I like disruption in my walkways. So as this tree, it's naturally going to fold out and push this way like my old bottle palms did to look for the sun. So now that this is a single, it's going to kind of come out this way and curve and go straight up searching for the sun. When it does that, it's going to be one of those showstoppers. The trunks on those Europeans as they curve and make their way up is just so, I don't know if there's anything more tropical than that. It's one thing that I'm willing to wait on. So we've got a starter here. This guy is in place. He just needs to make his move. So we have the triple bottle palm here. To the back, I've got 2 really nice rhapis palms. I love that texture. I cannot wait to stick some lights on those. And when you put landscape lighting on rhapis palms, y'all, look out. That kind of look, that kind of shadow effect of all of those fingers on those palms, it changes that landscape vibe from daytime to nighttime. It's just it screams resort. It's just so beautiful. So I've got 2 of those guys flanking the cold coconut. This little tree right here, this is a Copernicia alba. Now, she's tied up still. She's not in wardrobe change yet, but she is absolutely one of the coolest trees. So this is my husband's favorite tree. And this tree is, I don't get to plant it much. It's kind of a little pricey for what you get at the size that you get it, and it grows super slow. So in the landscape world, that's almost like You have to really love it to want it, and that's kind of where I am. I don't get to use it very often, but my husband loves it. If you're looking for a cold tolerant tree, if you're looking for a silver tone in the fronds, and you're looking for a petite tree, this guy will do all three of those things and do them super, super well. Oh, and grow super slow. So maintenance on it is like zilch. It's like so small. So this trunk will remain pretty tidy right in this spot. So it'll continue to grow straight up. And the canopy will only get the arm span right here. It's not gonna get huge. So it's only gonna fill up this spot. And you know, unlike a bottle palm's canopy, which will get, you know, 10, 15 foot wide, this guy will always stay small and for a long, long time look like a tree bush right here. And when I have things like the textures are really crazy, like I've got the triple bottle palm next to it, which has that long leaflet of frond and big, big arching branches. And then on the opposite side, I've got a cluster of liqualas, which is a completely different branching. If you can do that and change the contrast with something like the Copernicia alba, where it has those like all these individual little mini fronds here and it stays real petite, just that contrast when you're looking down the garden, you're like, ooh, I love this frond texture, misses this frond texture. And that's kind of what, when I meet with clients, I try to stress that because I think that goes overlooked so often, where you're like, you know, I only have a certain amount of space, so I only want to work with plants and trees that I absolutely love. I can see the reasoning in that, totally. But a lot of times, it's that contrast that makes you love the plant that you love the most, because you're able to incorporate something that helps support it. This is a supporting character, and the showpieces, they're the main character in the film. So this guy is going to offer you that disrupt, that place for your eye to rest. Because if you have all your favorite plants in one group, they don't kind of show off nearly as much if you don't have a supporting group, like, you know, maybe a boring plant or tree. If you like, you know, have some big tropical plants and then you don't have maybe some colorful foliage like gold mound or Carissa boxwood or some of foxtail ferns, some things that are not showy, then that contrast gets lost because all you see is your favorite leafy plants. But sometimes it's those other things that kind of help give you that green screen to make the real showstoppers, well, showstoppers. Okay. This is my money shot, y'all. This is the shot that I see when I'm washing dishes, right out of my main kitchen window, when I'm cooking. Well, it's not very often, but you know, when I'm in that particular area looking out, this is the shot that I see. So I knew this is the spot where I wanted my favorite things in the garden. So these are not cold tolerant. However, I am willing to come out here and put a heater on them if we get another cold snap, because I love this collection of plants so very much. So Copernicia alba, cold tolerant. The Europeans to the back, cold tolerant. The cabata, the clustered cabata. And again, she is not showing off just yet. She's still, you know, got a lot of fronds to her. She needs to be cleaned up. The cabata palm is like, to me, it's like a glorified areca palm. It is a lot less maintenance. It kind of stays more compact and dense. The crown shafts are so beautiful because they're like a beautiful green with white striping around them. So as this tree matures and gets into that areca palm grouping where it becomes a big tall canopy tree back here, what's going to be so striking is that in that dark spot, I'm going to have all of those white rings on those trunks. I think they're so very, very beautiful. I do have one that Randy Sexton gifted to us. You guys didn't get a chance to see it yet because we got it, and then like a month later, we got the frost. It was gonna be in one of my videos coming up. I almost hate to show it to you. I'm gonna get Bryce to pop in a picture of what it looked like when we first put it in. It was a stunner. I was in love with it. I drove past it and I told him, I said, I don't know how I'm gonna get that in my yard, but it's gonna go to my yard. And when I finally told him that it's happening, he's like, you know, take it. You've been eyeballing that tree for like a year, so just take it. And then we had the frost, and now she's bold. But she does have fronds, so it didn't do her in. It just, you know, she's just going to take some time to come back. So we're going to have now 2 of them in the garden. This is a beautiful 65-gallon that we heaved back here, and it is really going to be a stunner as a backdrop. So since we have a big clustering of fronds and all of those individual leaflets that are there, what better than put something in front of it that has the exact opposite? We have got these paddle-like fronds here on these loqualas. Oh my gosh, you guys. These 3 loqualas, I planted them together to kind of do a makeshift triple palm tree. Now, I've never seen a triple loquala, so fingers crossed, they went in okay. Normally, when I make a single trunk tree, and I do, 2 or 3 or 4 of them, and I make them triples or I make them quads. I've done that many times with pygmies. We actually did that over there, you guys will see in a second, with a triangle fan palm. What you normally want to do with those trees, you want to group the root balls together. So you kind of want to make a bouquet style with the root ball, right? But in order to do that, you have to cut part of the root ball off. So each end tree, you cut one side of the root ball off so you can squeeze it into that center tree. And then you cut each end of that root ball off, and you group them so tightly together that all you have is the stems, 2 stems going to the side and 1 stem going up, and you push them together like a bouquet of flowers, and then you plant them that way. But because I didn't want to take a chance with these loqualas, and they're so beautiful and expensive and they take forever to grow, I didn't want to stress them any further. 2 of them came from my garden originally, and then I picked up 1 more to make this triple happen. So I put them in individually. I just put these 2 at an angle and left this one here as the centerpiece. So hopefully they will grow out like this. This one will grow forward, and we will have a grouping of beautiful loqualas in no time. Fingers crossed. Y'all cross your fingers and your toes for me, because I really, really deserve to have my loqualas looking well in the garden. I've tried very, very hard to protect them over the years. So hopefully this will take and do super well. All right, y'all, so you're no stranger to this section of my garden. This is my little waterfall area. Yes, I know some cleaning needs to be done here. Don't judge, I just want to bring you guys in as early as absolutely possible. So it needs a little love. We did lose our cat palms to the back. And instead of going with cat palms, the pygmy date palms this year did fantastic in our area through the frost. So I thought, and I love those trunks that the pygmies offer in time, I thought I would do 4 pygmy date palms back here to really give us some pretty immediate dense thickness and coverage. They're going to really take hold when they reach that 12-foot high. The trees behind them, which are the Christmas palms, are going to be 16 to 18 foot high. So I'm going to have like a wall of fronds here. I'm going to have 12-foot pygmies in the future, and then I'm going to have the canopies of those being 16 to 18 foot tall, which is going to create almost like a frond on frond feel. So once the canopies of those pygmies get up here, then the fronds of my Christmas are going to be up here, and that is going to give me a wall to decorate down below. Right now, all I have is the farfugium at the bottom that we just put in, but as those pygmies grow, you guys know that's probably where I'm gonna start bringing in some color, maybe some crotons or things like that. But that's how landscapes go. As things evolve, you kind of tap new material in. But right now, my pygmies are still babies, so they're gonna really need some time to really kind of take hold. I'm gonna pop in a picture of what it looked like without it and how close that pull screen. I know the pull screen's still there, you can see it, you can probably imagine it, but with those gone, you can really see it. It's like we were looking at our main entertaining area where their back main entertaining area is. It was just like a very up close and personal kind of feel that none of us have had for a lot of years. So being able to have some separation was really, really important for me. So having a halo of those 2 combination of those palm trees is going to do it very, very quickly for us. All right, so before we hit these next couple trees, let's just take a quick peek down that alleyway there of my new planting, and just kind of, you guys are gonna kind of see this really come together. I cannot wait for this to do what it's meant to do, but you can really see what I was trying to achieve, and what it really is a mix of textures. So you want to rinse and repeat things. You want to have, if you're gonna do a cluster of ferns or cluster of Sanchisia or cluster of this, you kind of want to continue doing that over and over throughout your garden so it feels like it has some continuity. But you don't want to do it so much that, gosh, it just feels like it becomes a hedge on hedge on hedge. So if you can mix textures, even if it's with supporting plants and trees that may have not been your favorite to start with, but maybe it's got a reason to be there, then try that, because I have a lot of mix of textures. I've got smooth, big, giant leaves mixed with very kind of palmetto-y type of leaves, down to, and again, now we've got the bottle palm where we've got some small leaflet, big frond canopy. Then you've got that palmetto vibe with European fan palm. And then we've got the little silver ferns, silver lady ferns at the bottom. And then of course, you're not really seeing the carpoxylon come in yet. Then we've got that vertical cycad look with the Dayun palm, and then we've got again, a nice mix with a European fan palm. And then at the very end, we have a big giant lacy palm tree. That's the hurricane palm. All of that will come together, and when that does, you're really just gonna feel like, gosh, you know, it doesn't look like it should like marry together, but it does. All right, so this comes with a preface, this one does. I know these trees do not look fantabulous just yet, but imagine with me. You guys know what triangle fan palms look like. Triangle fan palms are one of my favorites. I have 3 in my garden that survived the frost, survived the wind, survived every single hurricane that we've had for over 20 years in the garden. Brought them in very, very young, and they've managed to make it through everything. So when I have a tree that proves its stability and strength in the garden, I cannot wait to use more of it. Hence the cold coconut that we brought in. Now with the triangle fan palms. So I had 2 double triangle fan palms that were specified that I tagged for a project. And that project, right before that project, we had Hurricane Milton. And those trees laid in the water, looked horrible because, you know, it rained like consistently during that storm. And so we repotted them, stood them up, trimmed them up. It took almost 7 or 8 months before they were ready to be actually sold again, before they looked good enough to actually be able to be used on a project. Because I'm pretty picky on what I bring to people's homes. You know, I want you to have the prettiest plants and trees when I'm tagging. I mean, you guys, I know when you're out looking in nurseries, that's what you're looking for too. And these just weren't that. So we rehabbed them, got them going, and then the frost happened. And we were not in town to cover them, so they really got beat up from the frost. So lost a lot of that beautiful frond coverage that they had, and I still hadn't found a project for them. So at that point, I was very concerned about putting them in somebody else's garden because they've been in the pot so long. They go into what we call a foster system at my house, where I foster and then I adopt. And that's where these guys are now. We've adopted these double triangle fan palms, but because this was such a focal point area, right across from there is where we sit. We enjoy our family dinners and gathering, and I wanted this area to be so substantial. I had a gorgeous areca palm that had been there for over 20 years, had gorgeous big multi-trunks, and it was just such a showstopper that it really filled out the garden. So I didn't want to put something there that just wouldn't do that over time. So because we had 2 doubles, we notched out one side of each of the root ball, squeezed them together, and then had the audacity to kind of pull the tops out. So the root ball base is sticking together like so, and then we brought the canopies and pulled them apart just like this. So as they grow in, those canopies grow in, because they're not tight and flush together like this, the canopies will fully fan out, and we've got 2 on either side. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna do this, and then hopefully in time they will do this, because most of the time they try to search for the sun. So a tree will rarely grow out this way. It'll grow this way for a little bit of time, and then as it's trying to go directly for the sun, it'll start to curve its head straight up. So it'll originally straighten itself out. That's why you see coconut palms that are like way out like this, but all of a sudden it curves straight up because it's searching for that sun right in the crown of the tree. So as those do that, I don't think I've seen a quad triangle palm ever. So I thought, well, if we're gonna use them, we're gonna give them a lot of love, a lot of attention. Maybe I won't sing to them, but I'll give them a lot of love, and then we're gonna let them do their thing. And then I'm hoping when we post a video 2 years from now, a year from now, maybe, you guys are gonna be like, oh my gosh, what is that tree you have right there? And I'll say, hey, remember I did a video and they were pretty hazy and pretty ugly, but we knew, we had faith. Hopefully that will happen, and it'll be these trees right here. So triangle fan palms, if you find them in doubles, play with them a little bit. See if you want to incorporate them, make them quads, make them have 5 trunks. You know, you really can play with trees just that way by chopping into the root ball. And those of you guys who think that's cruel, it's actually very good to root prune palm trees. If you're curious on how that works, then you might want to check out a video we just posted about how to plant a tree and how much it really does like you chopping into the root system to make those new roots really flush out into making a very secured tree. So check that video out right here. All right, you guys, I'll see you next weekend in our next garden tour. Take care.